Hi guys, welcome to another video from Overbyte Gaming, and today we're taking another look at the state of play of Star Citizen. Yes, the crowdfunded space simulator legend that is also legendarily janky. And it remains so. In fact, it was even more so, as explained in my previous video, when I started playing it again so I could get a feel for the current state of it. Nothing worked pretty much because they just implemented a new patch, which apparently is persistent streaming or something like that, where if you put an object down in the universe, it stays there. I don't like that very much. I'm just wandering around space stations and there appears to be a lot of things on the floor, basically, where people are just putting them and they're staying there. So I'm not sure how good that will come across. I understand it so you can like go to random caves and hide things, but yeah, I'm not sure the wisdom of that, and introducing it broke the game pretty much for a good couple of days. It is back up and running now as well as it normally does. I have had some rather troubling play sessions. I'm not going to lie, there's been instances where I've spent a couple of hours playing it and made absolutely no money on it because it's just so buggy. I've had boxes killing me when I've picked them up. They've changed the Courier missions now, where you now can go to derelict outposts. Ooh, derelict outposts. I really don't think they should be available for starter players because you're not ready for them. The first one I did, I had massive troubles retrieving the package. I managed to get into the derelict outpost. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to jump as high with the box, so getting it out took me almost a quarter of an hour and almost suffocated me. Well, didn't suffocate me, but succumbed to the elements, shall we say, on this hostile alien planet. So that was fun. The next one I came across, I landed the ship and opened the door and immediately got attacked. Bullets started bouncing off the ship, so I closed the door again rather sensibly. Hovered it back up and shot them all with my ship weapons. There was about 12 guys there. 12. If I was nowhere near my ship, I had my pistol on me, that was it. I would have been a bit screwed, I imagine. So I got that one. That was the one that killed me, actually. Yes, I picked it up. It took off about 80% of my health, and then I bled out. There was another instance of basically doing the same thing, except it wasn't picking up the box, it was exiting my ship with the box. That was fun. That caused me to bleed, and I just about managed to put it on the shelf and get the monetary reward before I keeled over and died. Ah, lovely. Yes. Then you have these standard bugs that we're all aware of, with like elevators opening to black, so you always have to pause to make sure that's not going to happen before you go cascading out of the map. Lovely. A new one I found is I'm unable to grab the boxes sometimes. I put them in my ship, I go to where I'm supposed to go, I go to grab, something happens, it's like a bump, and suddenly I'm not carrying the box anymore, it's back on the floor, and I try and pick it up again, and it won't let me. So I've done the mission for nothing again, which is fun. I also had a lot of performance problems. Not initially when I started playing, but certainly in the session where I was actually capturing. I think it's memory based. I have 16 gig, which is pretty much the minimum nowadays, I understand. But it's never been an issue before. But it was hardly using my CPU or graphics card, and it was like 8 frames per second. And it was like using 15 gig of the available 16. Now, let's be honest, 16 is not going to be available, is it? So it was probably using all the memory it could and just juddering because of that. So I might have to get a memory upgrade. Lovely. Oh well. I don't really want to get a memory upgrade because my board only accepts DDR4, so I don't really want to spend money on memory when I'd rather get DDR5 memory, but I can't afford to upgrade the board on the motherboard. So it's kind of like, what do you do? But whatever. But yes, so Star Citizen is still janky. I did try some combat missions this time. I was going to try and capture some, but the aforementioned supposed maxed out memory problem, because obviously I don't know if that's the case or not. I suspect highly that it was, though. Was on the way to doing that. We still have the good old times where it's like, oh, go here. Oh, I'm not going to let you select that, so you're going to have to fly somewhere else and then fly here. And stuff like that. And selecting waypoints on planets is a bit jank sometimes, and it's just very frustrating a lot of the time. Oh, and I don't know if this is a bug with the game itself or just coincidence, but one of my mechanical drives died during playing Star Citizen. It basically started chirping like a bird, and then the system rebooted and then got stuck in the BIOS splash screen, and I reset it again and it came back up without my hard drive. So that's 2 terabytes of well, to be fair, it's not too bad because it's just 2 terabytes of VR entertainment. Well, shall we put it like that? That I've lost. So not a huge problem. I think I don't think there was much on there, but I couldn't tell you for sure because I just dump stuff. Like generally when I'm like game capturing recording, I stick it on mechanicals because who cares. So yeah, so that's 2 terabytes gone from my system, which is lovely. I'll have to replace that with a SATA SSD at some point. Once again, thank you, Star Citizen. You're racking up quite the hardware bill for me. Yeah, in fairness, I'm sure it wasn't Star Citizen that did that, but it was just like kind of amusing to me, the litany of errors and bugs I had to come across. My hard drive also died, so there's that. I was actually talking about it with my Sugar Daddy Bungle, and we were doing some math. Now, we know that Star Citizen's taken in about $500 million, right? $500 million from crowdfunding. And we were sat there going, well, how long is that going to last them? Because this game, let's be honest, it's never going to be finished. It's always going to be in some sort of development state. It's just the way they work. It's going to get better, and there's going to be more functionality to it, and you know, hopefully the functionality that is there will get worked on at some point to actually make it a good playable experience. But they're never really going to finish it. It's always going to be more. So they've taken in 500 million, and we were like, well, okay, how long can they keep this up? And they've got 512 developers, which is a number that pleased both of our nerdy selves. So we looked up the average income of a software developer. And according to Glassdoor, the average for a US-based software developer is $73,687 a year. So if they've got 512 developers, that's $37,727,744 a year just on wages for their developers. That's without, you know, the cost of their offices, the subsidies, taxes, stuff like that. So you can probably double that at least. So we're talking getting on for $18 million a year. They've taken in $500 million. That's like, what, 6 years? And they've been doing it for 10. Obviously, they haven't had, you know, that amount of developers, and obviously their offices were probably a lot less impressive back when they started. But it does make you think, like, how long can they keep dragging it on? I mean, I don't think that it will just like hit a wall and they'll be like, oh, we're out of money, fuck it, that's what we've done, enjoy. Well, hopefully not anyway. I think they may have to scale down at some point, because the longer it takes to make this, I think the less money they're going to get in, certainly from new players. I mean, you'll have the people that really love it and will continue paying money for ship packs and stuff like that, but like the influx of new players will shorten, because it's gaining a reputation as a janky game that will never be finished. And, you know, there is some truth to that. Now, here's the thing for me. I really like it. I really like just how insanely anal it is about all the little details. I love the fact you can get ships with, you know, onboard stuff, and you can rest in your ship and log off in your ship and come back in your ship. And I love being able to walk around your ship. I love all of the facility you have. You can land anywhere. I love even the combat. I like the combat. It's pretty good. It's not like Wing Commander good, but it's pretty good. It's certainly, you know, better than Elite Dangerous in my opinion. But the game is just so frustrating to play. That's the problem. It's why I don't play it incessantly, because as much as I like the game, it is such a bug-filled experience. It's just so frustrating. You'll spend hours and hours doing it and just come away with literally nothing. And then every so often they'll wipe the server anyway, and anything you manage to have done, you'll lose, unless you spent real world money to get the ships permanently. I know, like, the longer you play it for, the more money you retain after a wipe, so that's helpful, don't get me wrong, but it's just, I would rather them not wipe it. At the rate you're able to, well, I'm able to, I mean, obviously, your mileage may vary. I mean, you may have less technical problems than me, or just be a better player than me, which is absolutely a likelihood. But for me, I don't seem to be able to, like, make enough money quickly enough in order to, actually progress. Feel like I'm progressing in the game. It just feels like I'm doing the same thing over and over in my same starter ship, even though I've got 4 ships now. I have no idea where the other 3 came from. I don't know. I have 3 additional light fighters. And I'm just like, okay. Which is nice, but none of them have any sort of internal room. They just have a pilot seat, and that's it. So I can't use it for like any sort of courier missions or cargo missions or anything like that. So I have to use my NMR-1, I think it is, which is like the base ship that comes with the £45 pack that I bought when I initially did it. So I just don't feel like the amount of time I'm spending on it, I'm getting anywhere. I mean, I'm becoming more au fait with like the systems and like learning around some workarounds that like could potentially help with the performance, but it's just too inconsistent. It's like I could be like, right, I'll play Star Citizen all day today, and for all I know, I could come away having a nothing, because every mission I've done is bugged, and I've just either died or had to give up on it because I couldn't pick up a fucking box. And that really is the problem with it. As much as I like it and I admire what they're trying to do with it, they really need to fix some of the core systems of the game before they add other stuff to it. They need to be able to get it so at least it's playable most of the time. I mean, the amount of missions I've taken, and I would have to say I've managed to complete maybe 20% of them through no fault of my own. The other 80% is either bugged out or, something's gone wrong or the box has killed me. Yes. I just must have been a jaggedy bit that I didn't notice on it. I don't know. So Star Citizen is a game I really like and want to love, but it's almost an abusive relationship. You're all in and she's not that interested. I think that's probably the best way I can put it, because every time you're like, oh man, I'm really enjoying this, it's just like, no you're not, sit down, shut up, wanker. Oh yeah. I mean, I will continue playing. I mean, this is the second sort of state of play video I've done on this, so I'll do another one. I think the last one was about 11 months ago, so almost a year ago. I'll keep an eye on it. I want to play it more, but as I say, I just get so discouraged from like putting all the effort in and getting zero reward from the fucking thing. I get that it's an in development alpha, yes, that's fine, but I need justification to be able to spend hours and hours of playing it, even if it's just like to be able to get enough money to get a different ship, just so I can do the same things again with a slightly different ship. I mean, I was interested in the new Drake Cutter. I thought, wow, that looks like a decent ship. It's only 600,000, so that means I only need like to make 400,000. Well, when 80% of your missions bug out and don't pay anything, that takes a fucking long time. Anyway, guys, let me know down below what you think of Star Citizen in its current state. Are you having any of the same issues that I am? I suspect most of you are, but Do you know any workarounds that I may not have? Anything to just make my life a little bit better in the verse and actually be able to make some progress so I can, play it more? I mean, because when it works, it's great. It really is. It looks beautiful. Most of the time my frame rate's somewhere between 40 and 50, so... And I love the little details of turning on your ship's systems and having the different stuff in there. It's just so good, but I just don't feel like it's worth my time at the moment. This is a shame. Anyway, guys, that's me done. You take it easy, and I'll catch you next time.